Okay, so this is going to be our project for the day. I need to get a different tire put on the front because the inner tube blew out, and I need to get a battery charged up and put in it, and also fuel, and see if the thing will even start. It's been sitting here for about a month or so it might take a little bit of tinkering to get it going again, but I'm confident we can get it running. A little bit of a fun story about this tractor. My two brothers and I drove 2 or 3 hours into Kansas to pick it up. It hadn't ran in 12 years, and we just went with full confidence that we could get it running again. And lo and behold, later that evening, we were headed home with the tractor. Okay, let's make sure we're getting fuel to the bowl. And I bet you never could have guessed, it's full of rust. We've been fighting that issue with this thing. We need to take the tank out. We just haven't done it. Should have tied my hair back before starting this. I'm covered in gas. Okay, so I have no idea where this battery came from or what it came out of. And I honestly have low confidence that it'll work. But I had it charging for like 30 minutes. So let's see what it does. Well, we have lights. Okay. Our problem is probably going to be with this battery terminal end. It's not exactly the greatest. Would you look at that? I'm honestly surprised it started. Let's see if we can get this thing moved out of the hole it's sitting in. Well, it died on me. Let's see if we can get it started again. Let's try to figure out what's going on. I think I might already have an idea. Before I freak out too much, I'm going to see if there's any flow. Is there any flow coming out of this? Okay, so my suspicion is that the fuel bowl is clogged up where it's coming out of the gas tank. That leads back to what I was saying on needing to clean out the fuel tank because of all the rust. And that seems to be the issue. I don't recommend doing this. Oh man. Okay, I need to take the fuel bowl off. That's what I was saying about it being really dirty. That is crazy. Yeah, that's not healthy. Okay, so it still has quite a bit of garbage going down into the glass fuel bowl. But let's see if we got fuel at the carburetor at least. And it looks like we got fuel. Alright, let's try and get this running again. Okay, so I'm still having a lot of issues with it. I'm probably going to have to keep running gas through it and cleaning out the bowl repeatedly until it finally cleans up enough that it'll stay running. I really need to get the gas tank off of it and clean it out. But we got to move to where we need to, so now let's try and get it jacked up so we can get that tire off and get the other one on. Hopefully this jack has the kahunas to even pick this thing up. Oh my goodness! Alright, let's get this tire out of here. Oh, that thing's covered in mud. Now I just need to put some air in the tire, and then we're going to work on the fuel problem. Look at this fuel bowl. It's already nasty. Again. I hate to keep wasting fuel like this, but I feel like letting it fill and flushing it and letting it fill and flushing it and letting it fill and flushing it's going to be the best way for me to get it all cleaned out, unless I pull the whole tank, which I do need to do, and run some rocks or BBs through it and break up all that loose rust. Isn't that nasty? I think the only way I'm going to be able to get this thing to continuously run without any issues is if I pull this tank off. And as much as I don't want to do that, I think I might have to do that. I guess I need to get all the fuel drained out of this. You know, if I was only using this thing for a few minutes, I wouldn't be worried about it. But with the amount of dirt work I need to do, I kind of need this thing to stay running. We used to have an old Ferguson tractor, like a TO20 or TE20. And what was nice about those is the hood just picked up. Wish I would have done that on something like this. Haha. Wow, that's a lot of dirt. And mud dauber's nest. Alright. Look at the amount of mud dauber's nests that are in here. Alright. I'm literally covered in mouse poop now. But we got it out. So now we can work on getting it cleaned up. You know, that wasn't as bad as you'd expect it to be. Okay, so I did some looking inside of this fuel tank. There's quite a bit of rust in it. But I'll have to worry about that later because I have a baby shower to get to. So, I'll see you guys when I get back. Okay, now that I'm back from the baby shower, let's see if we can't figure out how to get this thing cleaned up. It has a baffle halfway through it, and I'm not completely sure how I'm going to clean the front of the tank. But maybe we'll just hope it isn't really all that rusty. I need to get this drained out. Let's see if we can figure out a way to do that. I can see all of the rust inside this thing, and it is bad. Hoping I can just power wash it out, but I honestly don't know if that's going to fix this. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing cleaned up. Okay, I'm going to try and let this drain out and see what it looks like, and if I have to, I'll do this a couple of times. But I don't want to just keep spraying it and it getting clogged up. So I'll get back to you guys after I start spraying again. Or probably after I'm done. Okay, so I have it all washed up, and this thing looks a million times better now. So I think the gas tank's good enough that we can put it back in. There's probably going to be some small floaties of rust that are going to come through, but nothing like what it was before. Putting it back in is pretty much the reverse of everything we just did, so we're probably going to just speed through this. Plus, it's really hot out, and I'm trying to get this done. Okay, so I decided before I put all this back together and just pray that it works, I'm going to fill it up, hook up all the fuel lines and everything, and try to start it and run it and see what it does. Alright, look at that. The fuel's a little bit yellow. I'm guessing that's probably from the oil that I had in there. But I'm not super worried about that. I was more worried about not seeing a bunch of little chunks in here. And we don't have any, so I think we might be good to go. I discovered a little problem. There's a hole right there in the gas tank. I bought a JB Weld tank repair kit. It comes with 2 different chemicals to mix, a chunk of fiberglass, and a little mixing stick. So I got it dried up to the best of my ability, I think. I'm going to wipe it off one more time, and then we'll get this put on, and we have to wait 4 hours before we can test it. Okay, so it says to squeeze the bottom, and it should break through. Oh, yeah, it does. Look at that. This was $20, by the way. Isn't that crazy? Well, hopefully how much I have on there is going to be enough. It already set up. Look at this. It's already hard. Ow, that is extremely hot. Well, we'll hope it was enough and see what happens, I guess. We at least got the piece of fiberglass on it. I would have liked to have covered that fiberglass with more of the stuff. But the hole is covered. There's fiberglass there. So maybe it'll be okay. Would you look at that? We got the tractor back together. Boy, is it hot. That was stupid. It is really hot out though. Okay, so now we just have to wait for the JB Weld to seal. I'm probably not going to be able to start this thing tonight, but I should be able to tomorrow. I wanted to be able to do some dirt work tonight, but being as there was a hole, kind of threw a wrench in our plans. But we did get the tank cleaned. We got it all back together today. I have a little bit of cleanup to do, but I'd say that was a successful day. It's a beautiful morning out, and it feels great outside. So let's get some gas in this and see if our fix worked. Okay, let's check and see if it's leaking. So far, it looks like it might be fine. I think we might have got it. There's one last thing to do. Let's see if this thing will start. I'll let this thing sit and idle for a minute. Then I need to work on the blade, and then maybe we can do some dirt work. I spoke too soon. I might need to clean the fuel bowl out one more time. Let's get that wiped out. Look inside of that thing. That's pretty nasty. Ow. Oh man, that cut the crap out of my finger. We'll deal with that in a minute. Temporary fix. Let's see if this thing leaks. Okay, so I still need to work on the adjustments for the blade, but I want to go test this thing out. So let's go try it. Okay, so it works. I'm going to have a couple hours out here trying to get all this leveled out. I still need to work on the adjusters for the blade, but for right now it's working, so I think I'll just go with it. If you enjoyed, thank you for watching. I'm going to move some dirt.